All right, friends, a lot has changed since the last episode because this episode is Generic Fantasy Adventure, a D&D 5e actual play, the second season, the 19th episode, and the finale of this season. It will almost certainly be shorter than 3 hours, so strap yourself in. It will also be the finale of our MCDM arc, and I'm just gonna jump in here. As the light of day creeps over the eastern mountains, giving a late dawn to Dragonhold, you see that hundreds of its local citizens are wounded, dozens are dead, and in the center of town, at the edge of the tower, are half dragons, dragonborn, who all appear to just have collapsed of exhaustion after a solid 18 hours of fighting, as citizens move among them and just stab them in the neck, take them out while they're resting. Everyone here was like, yeah, we're going to finish that fight. And I was like, it's been a month. The whole month I was thinking, I really don't want to do the rest of this fight. It's just going to be a really slow grind. So I decided early on I wasn't going to do the rest of the fight. Because there's almost no chance you would let me kill any of your units. You're just going to rotate them out. So why, why bother? Like, in the end, my strategic objective right now is to withdraw. So you're not going to let me do that. I played speed chess in my mind and said, I just don't want James to murder me turn after turn while I slowly watch myself lose the last of my hit points with his precision tactical eyes. You all are equally exhausted. There is a lot of emotion running through the exhausted people of Dragonhold. However, their adrenaline is causing them to basically collapse on the spot. Like, now that it's over, the only thing people are even remotely have the energy to do is to help the home guard get off their horses and like wipe the horses down as the home guard bring back the heads of the White Rider tribe. I should not have made that the name of. That's a tough one, man. Bring back the heads of the various sub leaders of that pernicious, essentially terrorist unit. Unless there's anything you want to do immediately, I think we can cut to talking about the days and weeks after the battle.
Guinevere had something to do.
Sure.
Yeah, ride out and get her father's body.
Yeah. I would like you to make a Constitution saving throw at disadvantage for exhaustion.
Okay. Oh, double ones.
Two natural ones. All right.
Two natural ones.
Okay, go back. Start the show.
Someone reset the algorithm.
I like a lot about Black Panther, and I can even say that I look somewhat favorably upon Black Panther 2, but I think the thing that they do really good is like surprising musical cues. And I don't know that anyone that doesn't, like those movies as much as me is going to have any idea what I'm talking about. But every time one of the leaders dies or there's a really intense personal struggle, they do this like really strong like violin riff that's like bah, bah, and like I feel like that's what happens. Like, you see your father, you're riding towards him, you literally faint from exhaustion and slip off of your horse, and the horse drags you unconsciously next to your father, who is covered in arrows and arrow wounds. Blood has leaked out of him from 1,000 cuts. And nearby, you see that Octi is dead, having clung to a hawk. The hawk has like 3 knives in it. it will be some time under the heat of the noon sun before you wake up. And when you do, it's not a great experience. You've been dragged by a horse. I mean, you're exhausted from fighting a battle all day. You really, I cannot stress this enough. You really need water, and you have no cognizance of that. You're at the point where you're so dehydrated, you don't even think about getting water. You're just like, yeah, I'm fine, actually. I could still make good decisions. I'm good. And you are next to your father. And time has not, just these hours that you have slept have not treated him well. This whole battlefield is basically carrion.
Once I wake, I think the goal will be to remove all of the arrows and keep the carrion away. Maybe try to somehow signal to get some help to bring him back. And I take Octi, remove from the bird, place Octi on Richard's chest, put the hands over top. Maybe get the bow, get his bow and nestle it next to him, and just kind of guard the body until others arrive that can help.
People from Dragonhold arrive. Probably a solid 2/3 of them are here. People who are related to members of the Home Guard, or people who are good with horses, people who are putting horses out of their misery, people who are helping the horses that are still good, people who just want to offer mercy to those who can be healed and rest to those who can't. And then a solid third are individuals who are purloining the spoils of the battlefield from both sides. A lot of adventurers in this particular category, moving like locusts from body to body, checking for coin purses, valuables, removing rings and jewelry, just unceremoniously flipping bodies over and kind of leaving them in neat rows. I'd like you to make a persuasion check to convince people to prioritize your need, but you're still at disadvantage.
Okay.
Even on a 7, you still manage a 13, huh? Incredible.
Yeah. Bard.
This is dog
Charisma.
shit. Dog shit. Okay.
Persuasive. Good with words.
Something I should mention, I did tell the players that they should take 2 level ups. And then or that they should plan to take 2 level ups. And then I think that Bearded did take 2 levels ups, but then I realized just now that it's not an issue because I haven't updated your D&D Beyond character sheets.
Yeah, you got to import it first. Yeah, that's right.
You still have your original character sheets, so you should still be good. So you can upgrade yourselves at any time, assuming you don't die in today's episode. If you don't somehow manage to get yourself narratively killed, you should be okay. You go back with a caravan of horses that were just exhausted, horses that needed a little bit of help getting out from under their riders, horses that were trapped under another horse, and they have formed like a litter to carry your father back. But your father is not going back alone because there are many among the citizens of the Home Guard who are being carried back, both wounded and dead, upon their shields, as it were.
And I shall sing a mournful dirge.
A mournful dirge? Okay, roll performance, not at disadvantage. It's a great opportunity for dirging.
21.
Okay, that's a pretty good dirge. People openly weep sorrowfully, and I feel like I want to explain what keening is, but basically people just cry out and wail really loudly as this guard of the wounded and dead re-enters Dragonhold. For the rest of you, in that morning, when Neria left, you see your alchemist slash advisor slash steward, Lucien Saint-Gerard, is going up to anyone he can find and just being like, okay, I need you to stop what you're doing right now, take these and get the blood of the dragonborn, and I need you to get the blood of the half dragons. You ogres, that way, go, just ride for the woods and go. And people are just like completely exhausted, they're tired of this guy's shit, and he's like slapping them in the face, and he's just like, do you understand what we have here? It is a gold mine, okay? This will make the battle worth it. This is gonna make the whole thing worth everything. And you can tell that this is a man who just rolled very low on a persuasion check. So low, in fact, that he may be in dire trouble from citizens who are like, oh, you want us to just harvest the blood and organs of our enemies, and that will make all of this worth it?
I just need to know, Arthur, you've just hit on the plot of Secret Invasion.
I have watched the first 5 minutes of Secret Invasion, and you've convinced me right now that I don't need to bother to watch the rest of it. Also, the fact that the showrunner was like, I don't care if the fans didn't like the show. The fans are the ones that are wrong. Every time I hear someone say that, I'm like, okay, but you came to a major franchise and you decided to be a fucking moron. You know, like, all right, you're not Martin Scorsese here, bud. All right, move along.
Is there any indication of what became of Tarallax?
I feel like Tarallax is definitely here. Like, you see his ornate armor, his cursed sword. He simply collapsed from exhaustion like all of his men did as well. You know, like, he just fought and fought until he couldn't fight anymore. And someone just slit his throat while he was on the ground, unable to move.
Okay, so he's dead.
He's dead.
Okay.
I can go collect the ingredients that guy needed.
You're offering to collect all the ingredients.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like you to make a medicine check at disadvantage.
Ooh.
Unbelievable. Total. What is the fuck is going on right now?
That was a 20
I got
and
the
an
ones
18.
out of the way. Now we can have fun.
Okay, so what happens is these people are all exhausted. They're so tired of his shit, but rather than talking to them about it, Tanira just walks up and just starts grabbing the glass vials out of all of their hands, and then using her monkin speed and reflexes, basically just like cartwheeling and parkouring through the whole town, just leaping 20 or 30 feet between blood piles of bodies and just gathering up all of the gory, gritty bits. Dragon teeth, dragon fangs, dragon claws, dragon blood. All of this is going to be used to make health potions and enchant magic weapons. You come back with an ogre liver from like the one ogre who actually did die, since most of them just got annoyed and left. They were just like, this isn't fun anymore. I'm going home.
They said there would be snacks.
I thought we were just gonna knock some walls down. Yeah, it's disgusting, but apparently on disadvantage, you still managed to get a 20. So, you know, whatever. I don't care. I'm not upset about it. Do whatever you want.
You better make it worth it.
Is that what you say to Lucien when you hand that to him?
Yeah.
All right. He goes, and then he starts stroking one of the vials while looking at orc blood, just like gushing through it.
Laughing, more working. We don't need you here laughing.
Did he laugh with disadvantage? Like, is he also fatigued from? Was
Oh
he up
no,
helping
I
the whole
mean he didn't
time?
fight at all during the battle. I mean he like
Okay.
rested and
To be fair, neither did I.
I mean he's heading off to his alchemy tower to begin the cook.
I'll probably spend the rest of the time trying to move over the dead bodies into whatever area that we deemed worthy of that.
There is a cemetery outside of the Dragon Tower.
Yeah, I'll start moving them over there
Okay.
as nicely as I can.
Master Dwarf. Oh, go ahead.
So I was to say, some of the enemy armies quit the field. Like, would it be appropriate to like leave their dead somewhere they can come and collect them?
Yeah, sure. They're definitely coming back.
Yeah.
Godric, what are you doing while we wait for the return of a certain elf?
I think Godric is collecting any dead from our side, and he's like giving them like a consecration or like a blessing before we're saying a prayer over them
Let's make a religion check.
as they're being loaded onto the carts.
It's very
Is it a
important.
religion?
I guess
Yes.
Godric and I can tag team that.
It's extremely important that you consecrate the bodies before they're put in the ground, or you're going to have an undead problem for a couple centuries.
Let me find a religion.
I mean, I'm not going to stop you from finding religion, but, you know, it's your choice. Okay, 17. Yeah. You do a proper job of sending everyone off. Those who are in the right mind to appreciate it take their time to mourn the loss of so many. I mean, you had barely 2,000 citizens and easily over 200 are being buried today. I'll tell you who's not being buried are dwarfs. Yorman's bowmen came out of this absolutely smacking. I mean, their leader looks like a tactical genius. They are low on arrows, but they have they killed so many people. They took little to no damage as a result of their dwarven hardiness and brilliance. They are coming off this battlefield looking like the most experienced unit by far.
I think whenever Godric runs across any of the bowmen, he's like giving them that like
I feel like they have to be
hero's forearm
crossbowmen
grip.
too, because they're dwarves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. He's
You
doing
give
that like
the predator
that,
handshake. Yeah,
yeah.
I know how it goes.
Mhm.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I think that's what Godric spends his time doing. Is just consecrating bodies.
24 hours after the beginning of battle, the four of you find yourselves outside the tower,
What?
participating in the burial of Rudra. Everyone here is truly exhausted. Shanira, you smell. I mean, you've been touching so many dead people and removing parts of bodies that the majority of humans will never touch.
Can use that stone to clean myself.
You got me. Okay. I mean, just a quick little... Yeah. All right. You don't smell.
No bath, but at least I don't smell.
Yeah.
I can use it for on Godric too, because he's probably been around the bodies as well.
There's like every couple of bodies we just swap the stone.
Your mother attends her husband's funeral stoically, quietly. I think Oh my god, what is this guy's name? The mayor of the elves, the dude who lies on everything and constantly is saying emo poetry.
Raython, whatever his name is.
Right, Rython.
Rython.
Raython, yeah.
Rython 100% attends as well, but probably for the first time you've ever seen, he doesn't say anything.
Great. There's a good moment to be, sad and mournful, and he's like, "No, this is not my time."
After the ceremony, he walks up to your father's grave and very quietly in Elven, on the small stone marker of the cairn that's been left, says, "It is always a shame to see the passing of one of our kind. I will sing of you, Rudra. I'll sing of the good times, and I will sing of the better times."
You know what? That's better than how I thought it was going to go. I was afraid he was about to start hitting on Quineria's mom.
Wow.
Good.
Listen. I mean, look, if he does it in the next decade, it'd be moving fast for elves. But, I mean, there's a time and a place, guys. Touching your dead husband's grave is probably, immediately after the ceremony, probably not the place you want to start a relationship.
Trauma bonding.
Days turn into weeks as news of the events here spreads out. Many of the so-called units of Dragonhold have formed into a more unified company. A solid series of subunits evolves out of it, but unified underneath the tactical command of Babka, who proved himself as a saint without mercy. Many of those dragonborn and half-dragons who fell to the ground out of exhaustion needed someone to end them. And there was one among your company who certainly did the job, a gory and bloody job that many would shy away from. Without question, he was without mercy.
I just want to make sure that what was the Dragonborn dude's name again? The one that was
Terralex.
the son of
Terralex, yeah.
I just want to make sure his armor gets to Babka. I want Babka to be able to wear that.
Absolutely way too small for him.
I mean,
this guy's a solid foot and several hundred pounds on him, but yes.
I mean, we can modify it.
It's also not magical, so I mean, it's.
I mean, he wasn't wearing magical armor to begin with.
Very well. I mean, you do have I believe you have a blacksmithing guild hall, so this is a problem for several senior journeymen to work out how to resize this armor. In the end, the armor is basically almost completely melted down and then thinned out into a more plate-like structure to act as a lightweight, extremely thin defensive armor for Babka. There is a question.
Artisans? Do we have artisans in all the guilds, or are we still lacking?
Over the weeks, more people arrive from the Empire. As the announcement of the road being built by the Emperor comes out, people show up in order to help that road being built. People who are selling food to the workers' families, they need a place to live, and it's very convenient if you're not basing out of the Orcish Kingdom, the southern edge of the Empire. It's very convenient to base out of your city. And so your city gains new temporary citizens and guests, but those attract more permanent people to, as word spreads around. Over the next few months, you end up picking up more seasoned blacksmiths, carpenters, brewers. You are even revisited by a particularly pernicious elven man who doesn't remember any of you, but insists that he has the greatest brews in all the land.
Figured he might show up.
What about Drongo Roundcast?
There's no sign of Drongo Roundcast.
Yeah.
You do have the young child pretending to be Drongo Roundcast that you stuck inside your castle.
He's just a squire now.
His father is alive, but you know, they basically have nowhere to live. They were captured while moving by the caravan, and
I mean, surely they can stay here until they look at what they want to do next.
sure.
I'm sure there's some houses available after the current battle.
So Long Walker the brewmaster does set up in your brewery.
Good.
He constantly tells stories to people about how he's cursed and can never stay in one place for very long. But after like a month solid of hearing that, people are questioning how he sleeps in the same house every night. If he's some people start questioning, is he really cursed, or is that just some shit he says before he skips down?
Whenever that is.
You occasionally get letters from Zorkan, the Githzerai that you nemesified, telling you of events in the south, and your ambassador has been recalled, as an attack on her is an attack on the Drow True Elves of the south, and the capital city of the southern kingdoms is now at war with the elves, which itself causes a civil war because no one wants to be at war with those elves. And the third prince, Murchison, finds himself embattled by assassins, and his list of allies grows thin.
Sorry, I lost track there. Did our actions have a part in causing this rift between? Is it between the Southern Kingdoms and the elves? Not
It's
the
the
True
Southern
Elves, though,
Kingdom and the Drow, who call
Drow.
themselves the True Elves.
True Elves. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The problem is that Murchison's men were part of the group that attacked.
Attacked Dragonhold.
Yes, and attacked the diplomatic embassy there, which the True Elves are considering that an act of war, and responded by raiding the capital city. No one likes being raided, but they also don't like being raided because somebody, like someone inside their government fucked up real bad. So it turned into a multi-way war where now all the factions are all just fighting each other constantly.
Not our fault. Sweet.
And not your fault in any way, except that you exist.
Okay. But our ambassador has been recalled then.
She has been recalled.
Okay.
As weeks turn to months and months turn to years, you receive word that the Empire is losing. New magical, technological innovations are popping up all the time. The Draking ship is incredibly successful at pulling dragon killing specialists from across the world into a private business venture to hunt down the new wave of dragons from Unash and kill them and bring them back for spare parts. That one Draking ship is way more successful than any of the Imperial Sky Knight divisions, who are devastated over 2 years of combat. The Imperial Land Army is like 30% losses. It is just completely devastating to Imperial morale. Many of the easternmost kingdoms, including that Dwarven colony, are totally destroyed. They are overrun by dragon attacks. Dragons simply just fly over villages. They fly into the mountains, set fire to everything, cover everything in acid. It seems as if this wave of dragons from Unaj is getting stronger rather than weaker, and that while you informed the world of the problem, and stopped the blunt edge of Ortholax's plan. It was just the tip of the spear. What do you do in those 2 years of relative peace for Dragonhold? I say relative peace, but watch one of y'all start a war. Peace until you fuck up. How about that?
I figured Janira would want to start using the Adventure Guild to kind of get more to level up within the group, to go out and find information for Dragonhold, and to also find more orphans if they wanted to come and learn to craft.
I would like you to roll a investigation check.
Okay. $20.
You go on several adventures over the years. You're easily the strongest member, and people thoroughly welcome you into the party as like a assurance that, you know, if something happens, Tanir's just gonna go ape shit on them. In that time, you move from your traditional role of beating the hell out of people, getting drunk, and then spending all of your money on drinking or orphanages into an information gathering role that is normally covered by your bard, but you don't have access to your bard. You're on a totally separate adventuring parties and a totally separate adventure, and you thrive in this particular role. Your old criminal life comes in more handy than you might think at learning how to read people, finding who knows what you want to know, and getting them to give it to you one way or another. There are whispers of enemies within the Empire, enemies that are spreading south past Dragonhold. A new religion or cult is sprouting that worships undeath, bringers of pestilence, the offer of eternal life for temporary service. The seductive lure of freedom from disease, freedom from material wants. If you don't need to pay for food and drink anymore, why are you working? Wouldn't a few years of hard labor for an exchange of a life of ease, an eternal life of ease, be truly worth it? You get information about these cells of undead cults and learn that they are dedicated to a god known only as the Hand and the Eye.
So assuming we can make the connection with the symbol we saw on the Necromancer's army.
Of the Hand and the Eye.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there are regular intervals where I send information back to Dragonhold as well. So
one of your missions has you, because you rolled a 20, so I'm going to give you a little bit more. One of your missions has you run up against a cult cell of the Hand and the Eye, raiding an orphanage for what they term to be spare parts. You defend the orphanage and manage to capture one of the members alive, or unalive as it were, since he appears to be living until you take a closer look, and he's got that Victorian England pale skin, like his veins are blue kind of shit, and his skin is slightly translucent, and you realize that he is like either partially mummified in some way or just like sealed. His spirit is sealed inside of his own corpse. Like he's a walking undead intelligent being who spills the beans that the leader of this new wave of attacks is Unaj's greatest servant, and that even now, from the tomb of Unaj, he commands armies of Unaj's brood and sends them out into the world, and that soon you too will be doomed and damned by him. But you know, like he's saying that like ah ha ha, ha, and then you crush his skull. Yeah, like it's like ah ha ha.
yeah, there's definitely skull crushing if you're gonna attack an orphanage.
And you bring back the entire orphanage worth of kids. We're all very happy to be alive and not used for spare parts.
I mean, I had to. Couldn't just leave them there.
Who else got some shit they want to do during the 2-year break?
I'm happy to go. I think that so one of Kittrick's concerns is going to be with the sort of the what's happening with dragons, that it's just going to basically turn people into, hey, all dragons are evil, dragons are all attacked on sight. So I'm trying to get out into the world that Dragonhold is a place where we are, some dragons are friendly, some dragons just want to be left alone. We're allies to those people. We also want to stop Unash, but we want to do it the right way. We want to do it through finding the law required to end this threat, not simply just wiping out a powerful intelligent species. So I think that's more of an information campaign, and then also just trying to use that to gather any intel that people can give us about anything that we could use to determine where to next devote our efforts. Because it sounds like, as you say, we hit the tip of the spear. We sort of took out a couple of key dragons, but it's grown beyond us. But there's got to be some more pinpoint things that we can do that have a difference, rather than simply just trying to add more and more dragon heads to our tally. And then I think on a personal level, because Kithrix is starting to go back into cleric levels now, and I took what's the weird spell called again? Ritual, I think it's called.
Yes, ceremony.
Ceremony, that's it. Yeah. So I think that Kithrix herself is just trying to become something of a community figure within Dragonhold. So doing things like, because as far as she's concerned, you don't need to be devoted to the god of nature or the force of nature to benefit from it. Like everybody is alive and can have their own individual beliefs. So she'll offer to do things like officiate marriages or attend to newborn children and bless them as such. She's just trying to do that sort of benevolent community. She doesn't want to call herself the leader or the head of the community, but just wants to sort of establish herself in that way, as trying to make sure that everybody's needs are taken care of.
I would like you to roll persuasion, investigation, and religion.
Okay. All skills I'm bad at. Okay.
Just because you're bad at them doesn't mean you can't describe yourself using them.
That's it. So let's say 9 on persuasion.
That's probably the one you really didn't want to fail.
15 on investigation. And that's 9 on religion.
Okay. You go on several diplomatic junkets around the world to convince people that dragons are not evil. This is not well received in the Empire. And in the South, they're having a civil war right now that's stretching into a multi-year affair, and no one cares. The only place you receive any sort of welcome greeting is an esport, where people are definitely willing to hear you out about dragons, but are extremely skeptical because they've heard very real reports from their cousin's nephew that dragons are bad. And there was a dragon attack just yesterday on the eastern edge of the Empire.
Adam, okay.
You try to hold religious ceremonies where you can. You try to do marriages. No one... It's just that people don't seek you out. The god of nature is not one of the gods traditionally seen doing that sort of marriage officiation work in the Empire. And former Imperial citizens who have come here for a new life are kind of expecting a more, love-based rather than kind of like a, god of like light and nature and life. They're kind of looking for a god that, knows how to get it on sort of deal. A more humaniform, anthropomorphic god rather than the all-knowing spirit of nature. And you're like, I don't want to position myself as the leader of this community. I'm just a community leader. And as you say that, it's like 2 in a empty room with no one in it. This Sparky sitting there clapping in the front row. And you hang your head down and you put the torch out on your way out the room after you stack all the chairs. It's a real come from behind underdog political thriller story, the first episode. Fortunately, your investigations go slightly better than your other roles. While you are out and about throughout the Empire, you begin discovering, while you can't make people like dragons, you can get dragons to like you. And dragons throughout the land begin coming forward for protection. Once it's made clear to them that you aren't going to suck their souls out and turn them into a lawn garden, the powerful one and the librarian welcome more dragons as guardians of Dragonhold. Dragonhold now essentially turns into a cat tower filled with dragons who are just hanging out. The monastery is completely evacuated. It becomes 3 different dragons' dragon horde. They're all like not related, but they have heard of what adoption is and essentially form a sibling bond with each other and declare that that's like their collective lair, cutting off the top of the tower from the bottom of the tower. And if you recall, the sides of all of the layers of the tower, the sides fold out, those are basically open whenever it's not raining, and sometimes when it is, so that the dragons can just go out and fly and talk to somebody on a taller level. They're just hanging out all the time. There's dragon crazy up in here. Well, we've got a dwarf and an elf in a very Legolas, Gimli way. Who wants to go next on how I spent my 2 years?
I think I was gonna say I think I'm ready. If unless you want to go, Lauren.
No, go.
Okay. I think over the next 2 years, Godric has like I want to say 3 goals that he's trying to achieve.
Okay.
The first is he's keeping himself busy with guild work, since we have a guild at or we established a small guild in
But which guild?
like Adventurers Guild. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like Blacksmith Guild, Brewer Guild, like we're going a different way. We're going Adventurers Guild.
So with the Adventurers Guild, he's not trying to increase his rank the way Tanira is. I think he's doing just enough to maintain his current rank and status. I think he's also on the
being
flip
the guy
side
who
of,
brings goblin ears in, because that was your rank and status, was the goblin killing guy.
well, I was God, I forgot what rank I was.
Iron, I believe.
Iron, yeah. He's just trying to maintain his iron rank and stay active in the guild. Not specifically looking for he's not doing the goblin slayer thing and being like, are goblins involved? I'll take it. But I think on the flip side, he's trying to do something similar to what Kithrix was doing as far as his clerical duties within Dragonhold. He had the temple built. I think he's administering the temple and anyone who comes in. I think he's realizing that or taking a lead from Kithrix and realizing that like clerical work isn't just like saying and preaching, but also like performing marriages and other types of ceremonies. And any kind of marriage he happens to perform, he's excited to do, because up until now, every ceremony he's done has been a funeral.
You're not wrong.
Right. And then I think the third thing is he's well, I want to say that he's also working on perfecting or working on becoming a better blacksmith, but I think his third main goal that he wants to do is he's trying to reach out to other dwarf colonies, and like try to convince dwarves to like come to Dragonhold, like move to Dragonhold.
Interesting.
And not. I'm sure this is going to cause some heat, but he's not reaching out to just like normal dwarves, but also to like Duragar as well.
Gasp.
Okay, I would like you to roll religion. and persuasion at disadvantage.
What I know I was like the bottom rank in the adventuring guild. What rank would you say I am now?
Oh, probably at least iron for sure.
All right, that's the persuasion.
We're doing isekai. I'll just make up more ranks if you need me to.
I do need you to.
Okay,
And
you're now
religion.
double mithril plated. That's where you have mithril on the top of the bar, but then it's also on the backside as well. Wow,
right,
you
was
were
that
really good on
12?
both of those.
Yeah, 12 for persuasion, 18 for religion.
Where Kithrix has divided herself so much that her time in town is very sparse. You work here, you adventure here, you do go on long junkets, but then you spend long time back at home in the community, and your administrations are much more well received. I mean, the god of the forge is also a god of binding. That said, you do find out that your assistant at the temple, the halfling warlock Vittorio Cognac Casker, he's a weird dude. And like, you always knew that like warlocks were weird. He's the kind of guy to laugh at a funeral. If you can't understand what I mean, you soon will, as there were a bunch of funerals in town. And he just, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that someone got that reference, especially a Canadian, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I have to get that reference or I'm kicked out of the country.
He's a weird dude, but he is good at preaching, and he does seem to believe in the god of the forge, the stone-faced one. He has this way with people that they're like, when they meet him, they're like, hey, who is this guy? But like several weeks later, they're like, I feel comfortable leaving my children with him. And when new people join, we have to really warn them that like he looks weird and he does weird stuff, but he means well. I swear, like, I know it seems like he's the villain, but he's actually a good guy.
It's like that guy who you find out he's like, you know, he's an old man, he's a pastor, you think he's all sweet, and then you see him at like the community pool party and he's got his shirt off, and you find out that he's like, he was a former Navy SEAL and he's got tattoos that say like die motherfucker and shit all over him.
I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like this dude is like Vincent Price. You know, he walks around and he's like, that's right, it's me, Vittorio Cognac Caster. He wears a bow tie and just gives off weird vibes, but then you talk to him for a while, you're like, wow, he's got really good ideas, actually.
He's got some Igor vibes.
Things go well for the celebration of the Stone-Faced One, and you are sent many dreams that indicate that you've had dreams before of your religious obligations as a cleric. You've ignored them thoroughly. About a year in, you lose any and all access to your clerical powers as your god withdraws, as you have failed to make a book. He has sent you many dreams so far asking you to make a book. You have failed to do so. After overcoming that and confusedly in what would be a standalone movie, you know, it'd be like that 90-minute long anime movie where you finally learn the true meaning of stone. It's not canon for sure. You get
OVA.
several. Yeah, you get several powers that are never referenced again in this series that you learned there. And you meet a whole new character who just never shows up again or is referenced in any way in the lore. You learn the
Oh
true...
shit, is that Chewbacca's brother?
Yeah, oh my god.
Chewbacca.
What a long reference. You don't even go for his grandfather and Tina Turner. Oh, shit.
What?
Oh boy, Beardy,
Oh,
you
yes,
really
Tino's
you
grandfather.
dodged one real bad. You dodged it.
Nailed it.
You don't know about Chewbacca's grandfather and the Tina Turner dance scene, huh? Okay.
No.
You live a blessed life.
Life of ignorance and bliss.
James, what is episode 5.5 called again? Oh, Life Day celebration?
No, the Star Wars Christmas special.
Christmas special. So it's incredible. They did it all live. Carrie Fisher was absolutely blasted out of her mind on heroin. She turns to C-3PO at one point and says, "You're so shiny." Mark Hamill had just been hit by a car. So he was
Jesus.
also on drugs, but he looked like a man who had just been hit by a car. Tina Turner did a live dance performance that got pretty risque.
They had, but B.
I have
Arthur
to
was
look
it?
that up.
One of the
Yeah,
Golden
B.
Girls,
Arthur.
isn't it? Yeah, B. Arthur. That's it. Yeah.
It was and it had the animated Mandalorian special where Mando's gun from season 1 of Mandalorian, Boba Fett has it, and Han and Boba Fett get together, and he's like, "Hey, what's up, mysterious bounty hunter?" He's like, "Not much. Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm Han Solo. Let's team up." Then Chewbacca shows up and is like, "Han, look out! A bounty hunter by the name of Boba Fett's looking for you." And Mando goes, "Oh shit. Well, I'm Boba Fett. He's right. Blam 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 blam."
When was this made?
Oh, at like the 70s.
1970, 79, I think.
Jesus.
Maybe.
Is it on Disney Plus? I feel like
No.
Disney has done everything they
They
can to
don't
eliminate it.
own.
It's definitely
It's
on
not-
YouTube because I just
it's
found
not-
it.
It's not owned by the Lucas license, so it was done by like CBS or something. And
Insane.
yeah, they had the license temporarily, but they own the production for it.
It was 1978.
All right, so now we're back in reality real quick.
Yeah.
The reality of this fantasy game. You managed to build a book, the true book of things that Stoneface has wanted to say, that have reached deaf ears. Those who can understand the gods are essentially akin to being a god. Those who can have a direct conversation are able to change the world in ways other mortals can't even begin to understand. And as you grow more powerful as a cleric, you are not filled with direct words, but you get vague ideas of the new way that Stoneface wants their religion to move, and you put them down in a New Testament, which you lay down in a book of metal, and you personally hammer into place. So like all the pages are metal, and you just like tap out dwarven runes in the metal. Yeah, so that's sick for a while, and then you get your cleric powers back once you finish it.
Nice. That was my spin-off movie.
Yeah, that was your spin-off movie.
Okay.
Then you get a second spin-off movie where you go on an adventure to find the deep gnomes. Not the deep gnomes, the deep dwarfs. And the dwarves in the south. You reach out. The dwarves have essentially pulled out of the southern kingdoms. Like, fighting between goblins and drow and all this shit. Like, all of the southern dwarves and all of the Duragar basically are just like, guys, like, this is a race war and we are not part of the races involved in this. Goodbye. We're leaving. We can come, like, we're gonna hire some guards to look after our buildings. We'll be back when y'all are done fighting each other. And we'll be charging triple our rates to reconstruct the city. So they go wander around the desert for like 6 months. You go out there and find them and convince them to come to Dragonhold for a summit and begin gathering dwarven leaders from all over the world. Some of whom they don't let you into their mountains because you're still considered an outcast by some of them. Others consider you to be, they've heard whispers and rumors that you are an incarnation of the first dwarf that ever lived. Others recognize that you are indeed a prophet of the stone-faced one, and even though they don't let you into their mountain, they return with you to Dragonhold, which becomes, it's like if you were like, oh man, we're gonna have this like week-long conference at a Marriott, but then it turns into like a year-long conference and people just, like, some of the embassies just end up living there, right? Like, they just fully set up, they're like, man, temperate climate really agrees with me.
I'm gonna get a timeshare here.
God. I'm still trying to get rid of my timeshare, please.
I mean, there was that little, wasn't somebody like trying to open up a vein or something before the battle happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's stuff for them to do.
Yeah. I mean, we have the Brewers Guild, we have the mining, the the smithing guild. We have the vein that can be worked if people don't want to give up mining. Like, there's a lot of stuff here that dwarves can do. So I want to like convince people to come live with us.
Visit exotic Dragonhold and live above ground. It's a rough sell. It's a rough sell for a 12, but they're certainly willing to come talk. When we return from our 5-minute break, we're going to find out what Gweneria's been up to. And since I know that she's been cooking with some high-level spells, it's probably going to get real damn spicy. Stick around for what will almost certainly be the second half. No, there will not be 3 parts. There's going to be, if we're lucky, you'll get a full hour. Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Nice.
Lauren?
Yes. Hi. Incidentally, I opened this bag of corn soup and it smells like corn soup. Tastes good, but
Okay. What would you like to do?
in the first 6 months, Guinevere spends lots of time with the elves. She does interviews. She makes notes. She compiles a history of her people. She dedicates it to Rudra and Okti. And she creates that history that her mother had been bugging her about. This is how she grieves for her father. After this is done, she spends a few months doing a lot of entertaining, storytelling, creating songs, stories, things like that, just to burn it out of her system. And then she dives into magical research for the rest of the time, particularly legend lore, teleportation circle, things like that. Things that were useful in planning for the upcoming battle. And, you know, occasionally when we need to get it, people maybe to Orsvawn quickly enough, she can use, you know, whips up the teleportation circle, send a caravan through. Things like that. Cut down travel time. Helps out. Tries to boost morale. Things like that.
Okay. I have several checks and questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of stories and songs are you making?
One of them is a tale of the battle, because we should never forget what we've gone through to remain as a strong, united settlement, as Dragonhold, as a place for all people. So there are stories and retellings and songs about it. There are also happier songs, some Elvish traditional songs that she's picked up from interviewing her people, things she remembers from her childhood. She spreads them around as well so that they will continue to live on, even though her people have been diminished, shall we say. And a few diss tracks. You know, there's specifically one about Skakosha.
Just to be clear, the majority of these songs, though, are songs that remind you of the good times.
Yes.
And songs that remind you of the better times.
Yes.
Stop it.
Did
Second,
you think,
Don't cry
did
one
you
today,
think I would
neighbor.
make
Second
2
one.
Chumbawamba references in one episode?
Well,
I think
well
you made
done,
the best
AP.
times, Arthur.
This is the peak episode right here.
I'm dumb thumping
Yeah.
right now. That's all I'm saying.
Because thanks to Stakosha, I got knocked down, but I got up again.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You know, I believe they played 1999 to year 2000 New Year's Eve. And I remember I was very excited to see them doing this song. That was also when J-Lo released her very controversial video. What a crazy year. The end of 1999 and Y2K. Holy shit, guys. Just
We thought we had problems then.
it was wild. Absolutely crazy. I would like you to make a history check, a performance check, a persuasion check, and an investigation check, and then we'll talk about legend lore.
Okay. Woo. All right. I've already forgot all that. A history check. 11.
I mean, you call it the compiled history of the Hidden Valley of the Northern Arctic. And your mom insists that it be called Volume 1, based on what she considers to be a very hasty compiling of the full history. 6 months is surely not enough time to compile the entire history of our people.
6 months is just stories from Rython, really.
Volume 1, a
Volume
preface.
1 of Rython stories.
I think Rython does the foreword, and it's it's solidly like 50 pages on its own.
I was about to say that.
Next up is Persuasion. This is to get the Empire to allow you to connect to their teleportation circle.
9.
Oh.
They do
No,
not.
absolutely not.
Ah,
Letting
okay.
an outside government with access to adventurers, its own small army, get access to their teleportation network. You could send people to the edge of the border for sure. They're not going to stop you from doing that. Connecting to the Emperor's own personal defense network that's links directly outside the capital? No, absolutely not. Under no circumstances. Like, you guys are good. You're friends. Are you allies? No.
We gotta up our reputation.
Even if you
We're
are.
also harboring a known like religious criminal.
Yeah, that's true. You have been told exactly what you need to do in order, by the gods of the Empire, you've been told what you need to do in order to recover your standing, and you were like, okay, that sounds too hard. Next up is performance for your songs.
12.
Oh my God.
These
Did you
rolls are
roll a
not so
6?
good. Yeah, I rolled a 6.
What is it with you guys having a +6 to skills nowadays?
Charisma.
Barbs.
High
all right.
charisma.
I mean, look, they're good. They're good songs. They catch on. The diss tracks are more popular around Dragonhold, which it's cultural sophistication. This area is not. It's mostly filled by misanthropes who don't want to live in other people's societies, and they're very libertarian. So diss tracks really appeal to their psyche. Complicated songs about elvish wars fought in the distant past. Not as popular. Okay, listen. How many people you see walking down the street singing Green Hills of Tyrol instead of Fuck the Police?
There's one just called Bjorman's Bowman.
Oh my God.
Yes, there is a Bjorn and
Well, that one's
song.
really popular among the dwarves. It's probably the only song that they can't stop singing.
I would hope that'd be a drinking song.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All of the and you know what? I think it's probably picking up from all of the like distant dwarves from many lands. They hear about this heroic unit of bowmen, and then they get here and they're like, "Oh, these are the only dwarves, and they were the ones who were in charge of the battle." I see. So dwarves are held very highly in status here. Yes. Interesting. I'm thinking of constructing a summer cave.
I think it goes something like loose the bolt and fight the foe. Bjorman's men are best
I
with the
am
bow.
a dwarf and I'm shooting a bolt. Shooty
wow.
bolt.
Okay.
What topics are you investigating with legend lore specifically?
I
Now,
want to investigate the nature of Unosh as an undead dragon.
Interesting.
Trying to find more information on strengths and weaknesses of a dragon that is immortal through undeath. Draco Lich. I don't know if I should say that, but that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay. First off, you will need to spend 450 gold on materials, 250 which are consumed every time you cast a spell.
Okay.
Okay, so you sit down to begin the ritual of legend lore, a very complicated and high-level spell that few bards have even heard of, nevertheless performed. You spend 10 minutes doing some chanting. There's some finger motions. The incense kind of goes around you, and as the spell finishes, the incense flicks out of existence. in your mind, you hear a voice that sounds suspiciously like Rython going, "And so it was in the elder days that old and powerful archdragons mated together with the intent on creating a new brood. Weaker than them, but able to act without the constraints that truly ancient dragons have placed upon them by other, more greater deities and powers beyond Arcane. Of the 200 of the brood of two of the mightiest ancient worms, one rose above the rest, slaughtering his brothers and sisters. Unash, the most powerful black dragon that has ever graced this planet. Unash from beyond the stars. His malice and contempt for all life, his will to desolate all things, his evil permeated the very air around him. And he found in time that he had access to arcane abilities of his parents that he himself should not have gained. From there, it is said, a whispering and questioning why a being like himself, already immortal, should have to suffer through things like eating, drinking, shitting. With the flow of gold and blood through his veins, causing him no end of distress, why should he be bound by mortal constraints of resources, when there was an infinite vast stretch of plains for which he would destroy, consuming the knowledge of all things and reducing all to a pile of acid? And so it was that he killed himself, trapping his own essence within his body. In time, he became a Dracolich of incredible power and moved to the plane of his new patron, the god whose name is... And you have, like, you're like, okay, you said something there, right? And you just keep going. In the service of his new patron, he brought to him the only resource that he cared about. Things that could destroy the universe. Undead creatures, powerful malcontents, demons without master, and the insane were called to his court, and it is there he hatched a new plan outside the cycle of life and death. He took from the pool of life and death his own brood, and before they were ever born, turned them into undead. Now, the energy of life and death that flowed between them grew greater outside of that cycle. The balance between life and death had been broken forever. His brood multiplied, hundreds, thousands even, but it was at the peak of his power, almost 100 years ago, that he was confronted. He would no longer be the master of the Temple of Unash. Instead, in the final act of a great hero, his soul was consumed, taken from him. Now, the tomb of Unash serves as the only true memory that he ever existed.
Okay. We should find this tomb of Unash and investigate it. That is my thought. I shared this with everyone else. We have a meeting. Hopefully Sparky is there.
Oh, hold on. Before this meeting, which takes place after the 2 years, I want to talk about Sparky.
Okay.
So we see the same temple, the sort of like outdoor space with like wooden chairs, the community center where Kithrix has been preaching at. We see a teal dragon wearing a priestly mantle. The mantle is made out of scale armor, but made of real scales. It's made of, given the pattern, it's Sparky's own scales that have been removed and then made into armor for him. And he's got like a little green cloak to indicate his position as like a page or altar boy of the god of nature. And he's up on a podium like a big dog, and he's got a little ukulele on his feet that he's playing, and he's using his tail to balance himself, and he's like, okay, all right, so I'm glad to see you all here again. It's me, Sparky. That's a good enough name for me, you know? I know we're all here still workshopping a new name for me, but my dad never named me. I'm kind of the nameless one, and I'm starting to come to terms with that. You know, you got to come to terms with the things your parents say, too. You know who's really a parent to all of you? Not to me, because I existed before the concept of nature and the concept of gods. But, you know, I've been around for a while, and I don't like a lot of the gods, but if I had to say, I'd say I like the god of nature a lot. She's a pretty cool chick, man. So, you know, she encourages you to try some natural herbs and remedies. There's plenty of stuff you can do to alter the way you see the world and experience the world for the better, and help remove some of the bad stuff in the world. I just want you to unlock your inner potential, not by speaking, but by listening and experiencing. All interconnected. So anyway, next week is the festival. There's going to be cornhole and ring toss. Make sure to call your parents. Bring them on down. We're going to try to bring them into the faith, you know, bring them into the faith. You know, my partner will be there. You know, my halfling partner who's just going to be doing some ceremonies. If your parents aren't married and they want to be married. Anyway, so, you know, let's all hold hands. And we could see that he's leading a Sunday school at this moment. The Sunday school is packed, like, with almost 100 kids. Easily one of the more popular religious ceremonies around here is Sparky's once a week Sunday school. Sparky now has a very thin mustache that he's very proud of, that does like the curly, like, villain from the 1900s who's going to tie you to a railroad track.
It's got like the Eastern Dragon style.
Yeah,
you know, like
and he's got a soul
Fu
patch as
Manchu
well.
mustache.
Yeah. And now we cut to, you know, later in that year where you have gathered everyone up. Your businesses have all coincidentally led you back to Dragonhold at the same time, where Gwyneria says,
Wait. I suspect we need to find the tomb of Unash. I have been researching and casting spells, trying to divine details. I think that these rumors of undead cults and things like that, I think it's all connected. And I think that the play of Unash might be to rebuild the world in undeath. Well, that seems...
Did your research give you an idea of where to start?
The tomb of Unash is where I've gotten to.
Okay, but not where the tomb is itself. So
No, that'll be the next step, is to find out where the tomb is, get the location and any information about it to help us infiltrate. Do we need to bring forces with us? Will it be heavily defended? Are the undead gathering there? I do not know that yet, but I know that is our goal. It's probably this tomb of Unash.
Barky, any chance you have any sort of ancestral memory of this?
Sparky is just like, hey, I'm glad you asked. I just want to say, I thought Unash was dead.
He probably is dead. We're worried about him being undead.
Yeah, no, I thought he was undead dead. Right? It's called the Tomb of Unash.
But could someone tap into those powers?
Sure. I mean, you know, when a dragon dies, I can take it and bring it into a part of myself. We can get a synergy as I learn to understand them and their point of view better.
It is my thought that what if there are powers utilizing what Unash has done? Someone is a controlling dragon. Someone is sending them out against the Empire. Could Unash return? Can the spirit of a dragon be reborn, even through undeath?
Yeah, happens all the time.
So if Unash is in play, either someone has tapped into the spirit of Unash, or Unash has indeed returned. And I think the tomb is the place to investigate to see if this is true.
Would it be possible that someone is using the Tomb of Unash the way we're using Dragon Keep? Like using Unash's soul to like essentially corrupt or manipulate the land around it and gain power.
Whoa, that's crazy. I mean, who could possibly do that, though?
Necromancer that was at the battle.
I don't know that necromancers traditionally have power to affect dragon souls. I mean, I don't know a lot about necromancy because I can't die. Or when I die, I'm basically instantly reborn.
Yeah, I just see the necromancer was a minion, but what if he is somehow? I mean,
What if the
maybe
necromancer was behind everything?
we could try tracking him down. He might give us leads
To where Unash's tomb might be.
But that battle was a long time ago. Like, it's not like we can just follow a trail. But we can read. The symbol seems to be consistent, though. The hand in the eye. Whether we can try and track down that cult as a way of finding what we need to.
Well, if we can pull together some resources, 250 gold should cover the cost of everything I need. I can try the spell again to get more specific information on the location. Make it our destination.
Yeah. I can excuse me. I can absolutely offer up the gold for your ritual.
If I sell an item in my inventory, do I get the full amount for it back? How does that work?
You get half back. What are you thinking of selling?
Probably everything except for the spear and the battle axe.
That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, magic items you need to roll to sell, but you might get more than, because obviously they're still magical. But not everyone has the ability or money to buy magic items.
I feel like you could probably just set them aside in a room, in a chest somewhere, just in case you ever need them in the future.
Yeah, that's true. I'll do that instead.
I was gonna say we can feed the magic items to Dragonhold.
We'll do that then. I need to do ranged weapon.
Lauren, I'd like you to roll an investigation check.
Okay.
A natural 20 would really help you right now.
Oh yeah, no pressure. Can I give myself my own bardic inspiration?
I don't think you're high enough level to do that yet.
Nope.
There are bards that can do that eventually.
A 22 total.
Okay, that actually is quite good.
Okay.
You are missing something for sure. You have your old notes from the beginning of Dragonhold. You have notes about dragons. You have notes about Unash. You've got the legend lore about Unash, the undead, draconic spirits. There's some connection here that you know is just beyond you that you're missing. There's some part of the story that could offer you a way forward. Just piece it all together, and it's just tantalizingly out of reach. A phantom menace, if you would.
It was that portal.
Was that
The portal that was here.
In front of Dragonhold.
Yes.
Yeah.
the portal
we tore it
whose
down, didn't we?
ruin you took off?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it could never connect to where it was connected to.
But if we reconnected it, maybe it would lead
Via
us.
Bluetooth.
If you. There's an idea. How do I frame it? How do I frame it? If the past occupants of Dragonhold had fought Unash and created and banished it through that portal, then that could be the reference to the tomb. That might be where we have to go.
To your knowledge, the last person to enter this portal was witnessed, and you read the journal of one of the members of the heroic adventuring party. I notes from that time. From Mistress Gallivantica's journal, the last thing that she saw was... Oh, sorry, from Retortia's journal. The last thing she saw was Locke Blazewing going through that portal after he locked Dragonhold behind him. And at that time, she broke that horn that she had, that you have now fed that horn to the castle, but she felt that what he did was a betrayal. He left through that portal, from the notes that you have, in order to try to bring back his human companion, Mistress Gallivantica, from death.
There's something undead about that.
Yeah, I'm hoping this doesn't turn out to be like Locke Blazewing was the bad guy the whole time.
No, I mean, that would make sense if he went through and he woke something up. Or
He was the one that
him.
did the waking.
It's like an Arthur situation. He put on some really cool helmet he found and it turned him evil.
So does us just going through the portal again just only make the same situation worse? Is there any way we can research the rune that we took off to see if we can determine more about what it may connect to?
That is an area of study to pursue.
I will need an Arcana check for that, or you can try to legend lore the rune.
I'm going to do an Arcana check first because I get a +9.
Okay.
I just want to be clear, AP. I still have both of the rings of the ram, the battle axe, the boots, the decanter of endless water.
So when you said you were
me.
selling everything, what you meant was you're basically not selling anything.
Well, like the weapons. Like I don't want to look like I have an arsenal on my back. Like one spear
The
would
arsenal
be fine.
you personally collected and made.
But
now
yeah,
you're like, I don't need these things anymore.
I feel like
am
I'm
the
really
weapon.
suspicious when I go anywhere and I have like
I've
6
had you
freaking
be
weapons on
treated
me.
like you're an insane person everywhere you go.
I know, that's why I'm trying to get rid of them.
Okay, I understand. 18 is good, but it's not quite good enough. This rune, you have seen something like it before, and you can't place where. There's something cursed about it in some way, and it definitely has the magical feeling of a connection to death. Possibly the plane of death.
Godric, make an Arcana check.
Wow. Was he a
I'm at
Pokemon
a
now?
+0.
No. Everybody's just rolling now? Were you trying to lump shot a 20?
I'm not.
No.
All right, well, the two of you just buffoon around and you learn nothing. You make things worse for everyone else around you. You're just like, oh, man, magic. I know how this works.
Godric, you're good at magic, right?
No, why does everyone keep assuming this?
Just
like
the one
the
making
running
Arcana
joke.
checks all the time.
Listen, that's the running joke for both seasons.
AP said to make an Arcana check, and I immediately just started to pull it up. And I was like, wait, that wasn't directed towards me.
His guidance counselor in school thought he was going to be a mage.
That's the other anime movie, the Zero prequel, the alternate world version where he becomes a mage instead, and how
Yeah.
different his life would be.
Oh, the multiverse.
You have this rune, Wineria,
Mm-hmm.
You could, at some cost, carve it back into the portal and access it. You're not sure where it goes, and you're not sure what it might let through from the other side. An 18 just isn't good enough.
I will ask Godric for help in procuring 250 gold worth of ingredients, and we'll do another legend lore. I'm not going to activate this portal without knowing, and I'm going to.
I can help with that.
Okay.
Yeah, that would have been us season 1. Season 2 are way smarter.
Mhm.
You need what?
Yeah, we're not just
250?
going to activate this portal and see what comes through to us or what we get into. So I'm going to redo the legend lore on the following day.
Okay.
What
I'll
do
give you the
ca-
250.
What is the focus of your legend lore spell?
The focus of the legend lore spell is to understand what lies beyond the portal. And if specifically,
That's the expansion
if
for this game. It's called Beyond the Dark Portal.
if Lockblade's Wings attempt to enter the portal has woken something up.
I mean, the spell is very specific that you get one thing.
Okay.
What's
I want
the
to know
one
what's
thing you
the.
want?
I want to know what's on the other side of the portal.
Very well. What is on the other side of the portal? Okay. You name or describe an object. The voice you hear is vaguely reminiscent of Dr. Lansky. And you hear it say, understanding. Let it flow through your mind. This portal is capable of connecting to many planes and many places. Teleportation nexus, but also a planar one as well. You'll find, though, that with the symbol that you have in your hand, it traditionally would connect to a plane of misery and judgment, a place of holding for souls, either as they are being prepared for a harvest by the gods, or those who are judged completely unworthy of any fitting and are sent to bake in undeath forever in misery there. In such a place, you'll find that this portal connects directly to the tomb of Unash, the final resting place of the last great worm of the Black Dragon race.
Okay.
Sounds like you found the tomb.
I guess we're gonna have to go through that. Find what we can from the tomb. The tomb should have markings. Maybe it has inscriptions, effigies, something on it that will give us clues. But we also have to make sure that we can have someone activated to bring us back.
I was more thinking about having someone this side where if we don't return at a certain amount of time, that they destroy it once more so that whatever else is there can't get out in case we're defeated.
Stargate.
True. Okay. Yes, bury the Stargate. Okay.
Just fill the portal with concrete.
Mhm.
Just put a really thin shield over it so everything that goes through is instantly destroyed.
Yeah.
True.
Just
That's
have
a
it so it
Stargate
opens
Atlantis.
into a wood chipper.
Wow.
I like that idea.
Wow. That's how you get ghosts, is by undead creatures escaping from a hell portal being wood chippered.
Mhm.
Is that what you want? You want ghosts?
That's how you get ants. All right,
Well,
through the
if-
portal, I guess.
Yeah, the tomb of Unash is where what
Probably
we need to
prep
do.
before we go through, but yeah.
Yes, we should definitely prepare. We need provisions. We don't know what's on the other side. Unlikely that we will find food and drink. Unlikely that we will find light if we need it.
Well, Godric's got the cauldron. I have a decanter, so we're pretty good on water and food, I think.
Yep.
Did I gain any money from my years away
Yeah,
through the
sure. Let's
adventures?
say you
Guild?
got 1,000 gold pieces.
Cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say in like two years, did we Do we get like any new equipment or anything like that?
I believe you have money. Would you like to buy some new equipment?
Did we make money while we were?
Your city? My understanding was that your city doesn't make money in any way, shape, or form. You give people houses for free and you have no tax at all. Your city has no income.
Well, we're trying to work on trade and like the road and such, but I imagine that right now anything we make gets reinvested back into the growth of Dragonhole. Like, you know, we are.
You're deficit spending for now, for sure, with the dream of one day becoming self-sufficient.
Yeah, we're not paying dividends right now. We're selling shareholders in the dream.
Yeah,
of,
the IPO. Wow. Okay, I didn't realize we were running Epic Games here. All right, that's a deep cut.
No.
I wanted to see if like somewhere in the time span of 2 years I could try to find like +1 plate armor or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. For $2,000, you got $2,000?
No, I just paid my rent.
Same.
I meant gold pieces in game. Who's in charge of your money pile? You had a money pile at some point.
There was like I mean, let me go back to my notes. There was a party fund, but I think it was mostly drained and people have been using their own stuff since then. But I will just double check the note sheet.
Yeah, if over the course I haven't made in those 2 years I haven't made any money, I don't have the money to get
I mean, I feel like you're making money on these adventures, but then you have to spend it on gifts and bribes to convince your new dwarven lords to come visit your house, and then you have to feed them and take care of them while they're in your area.
Yeah, I mean that's reasonable. Yeah,
Could I get gloves?
It's not like I was. I was gonna say it's not like I was trying to climb the ladder like Janira.
Gloves of soul catching. This sounds like something I'm immediately going to say no to, but let's take a look.
So.
Wait, are those the ones that I sent you?
Yeah, they are.
You're laughing, which makes me worried. It's from a book I don't even know, so no.
Okay. Damn.
It's meant for 16th level characters, so absolutely not.
I don't have my notes file anymore, so I must have deleted it once we cleared it out.
It's rough, all this deficit spending.
Yep.
At the very least, you get good material goods out of it. A regular supply of passable ale.
Yeah, so I think we own what we own.
Okay.
Definitely want to get some potions before we go, though. So
In terms of food and water, you're good. And in terms of potions, you can take up to 100 first level health potions.
Was there did anything ever come of all the blood that was harvested after the
that's where these 100 health potions are coming from.
Okay.
Gotcha.
He regularly he gives them out to people so that hey, if you get hurt in the field, and you fall down, bring this out to your paw and shove it in his wound, and it'll keep him alive long enough for a cleric or a doctor to go look at
Gotcha.
it.
That's our universal healthcare.
Yeah, your universal healthcare is the fact that you can afford to hand those out. I mean, he makes magic research all the time, and I mean, it's a wizard's tower, essentially.
The one that's
Arcanist
2d4
tower.
plus 2?
Yes, I believe that's what a first level health potion is.
I'll take 20 of them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's invented entirely new spells in the time. He's amassed a small personal fortune for sure. Part of your government is paid for by him making magic items and selling them.
That's true.
He's probably one of the only people that's actually
Making money.
positive income.
Guilds, maybe? I don't know. Travelers coming through and needing their equipment fixed. Is the Sauna Guild making any, or the Hot Springs Guild making any money?
I feel like the answer to that is going to be yes.
Good. Lifetime member.
Of the Sauna Guild. Yeah.
Yeah, the Hot Springs Guild.
They probably have a high maintenance cost though.
Yeah.
All that humidity really damages, equipment.
But the tourism,
I know, right?
they're one of the big draws of the local area.
Yeah. It's like it's
Yorman's
like a lot of
Bowman
forests.
Legendary Monument and the Hot Springs. You really got to see those two. And
Did
the
we make a
Dragon Tower.
monument?
Oh, I think they made themselves a monument.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like leftover copper scrap from the new mine. They just forged like a really shitty statue of a dwarf holding a crossbow really high. Out of just like leavings. What's it called? Scrag?
that'd be cool to have like little
Okay.
statues around the city.
Do we want to take all 100 health potions with us?
Yeah,
I can stuff them all in my bag of holding.
I'll take 20, but yeah, if anybody else wants to hold some, they can.
Yeah,
I mean,
go ahead.
are we going to cause a problem by depleting the entirety of stocks at?
No, that's just what Lucian's willing
Dragon.
to offer you for your adventures.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I
I'll-
mean, you go to Lucian and you're like, I need potions, and he's like, very well. I have a set of 100 here. I thought you'd be by one day. He just gets out. It's like the Jurassic Park style. It's like inside of a container. Shh. He just starts removing containers that have like 10 holdings of potions around them. And he indicates that like you can unbelt them like this and wear them as a bandolier.
That's a quick way to break them.
I just dump them into the bag of holding.
All right. He personally prepared these for all of you. He created a fancy system to hide them and
appreciate
a
it.
belting system. And then you just literally upend it all into a bag and he goes, well, that's, I'll be honest, that's exactly what I expected to happen here.
Or here's a sound of shattering glass.
I've been working with you for over 2 years. I would not have expected anything less than completely ignoring my efforts and immediately upending my fashion sense. Is there anything else I can do for you before you go on your adventure?
Anything to resist acid?
Sure, I can have the boys go look at making some rings of resistance or like a cloak of acid resistance. Got plenty of dragon scale around here.
Can you do you have any like high-powered explosives?
I'll take a cloak of acid resist.
But he's just like, okay, it's just gonna take a little while. Yeah, how about a potion of acid resistance? That's probably way more in my wheelhouse as an alchemist. It'll make acid do less to you for 1 hour. I feel like I can whip that up in like a week. What do you need, like 5, 10?
Yeah, 10 will work.
Okay. All right, well, we're all standing around in my workshop. I'm gonna get to work making your acid resistance potions.
We will leave you be.
Yeah, if we are going into the plane of undead, then necrotic damage is going to be a big problem
Oh,
for us
sorry,
as well.
Plane of Undead?
Oh,
Let
yes.
me get a
Yeah.
list.
Why do you think we need all these health potions?
Let me get a list together of things you might be able to bring back for me.
Sounds good. Just give it to me. I'll make sure we'll at least get some of it.
You know, you're actually pretty trustworthy, so I will give you that list.
I'll do what I
In
can.
100% of tasks I've given you, you have been successful, which honestly is
Is
very
one.
surprising.
I think he's confusing trustworthy with capable.
Just for player knowledge, with the potions of healings I already had, we have 92 in my bag of holding.
Oh, okay.
Over the course of the week, find that many people have noticed that you are preparing the portal investigating the rune. Your companions in the Hidden Valley Elves send over people to just watch over the portal. They're not sure what you're doing with it. Occasionally, your mom in Raya, which is definitely her real name that I didn't just stumble through, comes down and plays Wonderwall near the portal so that people will gather by. I mean, Wonderwall is the perfect song to sing to a portal that's right next to your dead husband's grave in the cemetery that the portal's directly outside of.
Mm-hmm.
In that week's time, I kind of want to drop some specs to get like a wooden dragon statue made for like the front of the keep.
Sure. What dragon do you
Okay.
want to make it of?
Uh,
There's plenty of dragons here now. There's like over a dozen.
emerald, I guess.
Okay. So the powerful one then. You want a statue of the powerful one.
Yeah, maybe two of them. Like one, kind of like a yin yang sort of situation of our first two dragons, the
of
powerful
the
one
librarian and the powerful
the
one.
librarian. Yeah.
The
Can
librarian
I
is
point out that our first dragon was Sparky.
yes, that's true.
Yeah, but he has the hold.
The librarian is used to sitting unmoving for hours at a time, so he's perfectly willing to be sculpted. The powerful one wants to move every 5 seconds and change his pose. Just like, no, this is you're not getting my good side.
Yeah,
so
it's not like super detailed. It's more shape based kind of.
Your sculptor is so frustrated with him. I'm gonna go ahead and roll. See how
That
well
guy
this turns
from
out.
Hercules trying to paint him. Snaps
Turns
the
out pretty
canvas in
well,
half.
actually.
Hey,
Given that you want to give him a week time to carve 2 wooden statues, you do get a yin and yang of the librarian and the powerful one playing over top of the entrance to Dragonhold's main tower. Right over the kitchen, which is the entrance to the building.
oh yeah.
You get 10 potions of acid resistance, which provides you with
I
1
have
hour of
a lot
half damage.
those. I have those in my inventory, unless you want to hold on to them, Godric.
Either one of us.
You may
Okay.
want to pass them around the group.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah,
one.
I would
pass
like
them
two of them,
around the group.
please.
Yeah.
6, 8.
Sparky will take one as well. He's got a little
9.
travel knapsack, kind of like a
So
Saint
2 for
Bernard.
everybody.
Right, he can make himself immune to acid damage, but then he not
Yeah,
the
but
other damage.
You have to do that to him. He keeps a little gold holding bag that's like something a dad would wear to Disney World. That's got his passport and a map of the park and his cash, his ID, his emergency contact numbers, blood donor type.
Look, when I take my kids to like a thing, I just write my phone number on their arm.
How many potions did we get each?
2,
2.
2 each.
Sweet.
which means Sparky has 2 as well.
I just want to imagine this whole arming up scene is all related with your mom singing Wonderwall.
That's the montage.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely also a montage of the festival that Sparky arranged for the god of nature. And while your religious ceremonies may not be well attended, I mean, the festival goes great. Everybody is all about making natural foods and trying all sorts of natural herbs. Sparky's just like, yeah, these mushrooms, man, they really expand your consciousness. I've been trying them a lot lately, and it's taken me to a new place. And I was there at the beginning of creation, so a new place is pretty rare for me.
I just imagine like scenes where, like in action movies, where they're like just really quickly like putting a pouch into a vial into a pouch, but like Wonderwall's playing in the background. It's like a really close shot of us gearing up.
I think during the festival, Guineria would go around, and when people are partaking various mushrooms and herbs and stuff. She will like cast minor illusion or prestidigitation secretly. It
That's
just
fucked up.
really gives them a good trick.
Really
That's
fucked
so
up, Lauren. Oh man, is this a bad trip? I don't even take that much, man. What?
And you know, and while they're distracted by like a minor illusion of the swirling rainbow portal, I'll just walk up and go, the colors, and then just walk away and drop it.
Is it all just a
A
figment of
little
my
bit of chaotic
imagination?
fun and performance. Gotta have some fun sometimes.
She's chaotic good.
Yes.
Well, she's definitely chaotic something.
Mhm.
You do catch Rython at the end of the festival, like getting everybody to go home. He's like, "Yes, that's right, everyone. Daddy has arrived. The police are here. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Get out, deadbeats, beatniks."
I thought Rython would be the sort of person that would complain these aren't like the festivals in his days.
Oh no, he's just like, "Get out of here. This is a public space. You're ruining it. Go
This isn't
home.
Stockwood.
Stop." Stop doing drugs, natural substances. Get out of here.
Yeah. Does
And
your
then
mother
once
know you're here?
everyone's gone, he finds a nice rock to lay down on and looks up at the sky and he goes, "Why do I do this? Why do I drive everyone away from me? Ah, I mean, I could have participated. I just felt like I was too dignified to do it. The last leader of my kind of the Hidden Valley Elves. I'll write a poem now to express my regret and distaste for myself. It's the 32nd one I've written this month."
Oh, you shouldn't write. No, 31.
Cornelia,
is
you're still here, daughter of my elven hold. Ah, I see you did not partake of the local custom.
No, I simply.
I saw you fucking
Hundreds
with
of
the
magics.
humans, casting minor
Yes.
magics on them. That
Yes, it
was
was-
really messed up.
You're a partook.
Do you truly think that the gifts of the Fey realm that have been given to you as a child of the stars, of the Canaan star, should be abused in this manner? To pull pranks on people?
Well, if it were elves, I would say no. But for humans, it gives them interesting memories. In their short life, they don't get to experience much. I see no problem with broadening the experiences that they have if they're willing to take things to alter their minds.
I was going to write a very sad
This is-
poem about my dislike for myself, but now that I'm thinking about how short the lives of humans are, I'm going to write about the plight of the human race.
Janira walks by, clearly having partook, and just goes, "You're kind of odd." He just goes, "Boop," and then walks away. Just boops him on the nose.
I have a quick question. If everyone's experiencing some kind of weird trip and we're getting ready to go, I feel like Godric would be walking around in his back in his like adventuring gear.
And
Is he causing
skull face, black
Yeah, I was gonna say,
smoke?
is he causing people to have
You
bad
guys
trips?
are so fucked up. What is wrong with you? You're like, oh, we love our community. Why isn't it making any money? Why aren't people settling here? Godric's like, it is I, Sauron, the will of malice.
He basically just scarecrowed the entire fucking
Are you
area.
high, bitch? That's legal.
Batman all over again.
I'm here to arrest you.
I think he has fun with like,
Goblin
the
ears
first
are the
person,
only
and then I
thing
think he
I'm
goes and
hunting.
hides. I don't think he wants people to have a bad trip, but I think he has fun with the first guy he messes with.
Oh man, you
tells
definitely caused
the
several
guy tells the guy to repent and tells him to go pray about it.
cardiac events for sure.
I'm gonna chase you around if you keep doing that to people.
This is why my religion roll was so bad.
Yeah, James, that's why it was.
Yeah, 100%.
Remind me to say that in Blood Bowl.
Listen,
This
keep
is why
my
my
horse
voice was
locked
so
up
bad.
too. My horse My horse has the same armor as me, so get the horse locked up too.
Oh yeah, that's right. You have a war horse and a sheep.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Classic.
Okay.
The last hoorah before we go into the actual hoorah.
Is there anything else you want to do before you open this portal?
I don't think so. I don't
Take
think
a
we need to bring the
bath.
horses with us, do we?
Definitely want to take a bath.
I think that the whole thing about the plane of death is that it's anathema to life, and we'll have to live with that. But I think that the more things we try and manage through that, like horses, etc., the harder things are going to be.
All right.
Could always get more horses. I'm gonna take my horse.
Who wants to activate the portal?
I would think it would be a Guineria thing.
Yeah, totally Guineria thing.
Does it require magic?
It requires an Arcana check, yeah.
So then it's a Godric thing.
Unbelievable.
Boom. There we go.
All right, are we ready then?
Wow. All right. So, sorry, you're bringing your horse?
Yeah,
Are you riding it?
not into the portal now.
Okay. So the 5 of you are going in with the horse.
I don't know about everybody else, but I'm bringing my horse.
No, I'm not going to bring the horse. I think there's a scene where Godric is saying bye to his horse and like sneaking him some extra apples. He's talking to him like he would talk to a puppy.
So was that actually the Arcana roll there, or was that you just being funny there when you rolled that
I was
dice?
just being funny.
Well, if
I
everybody's
was-
not
I
gonna
was
bring the
treating
horse,
that as
there's no point in
serious.
me bringing it.
I think we're going the idea that Guineria would be activating. That's why I joked when I said
Yeah.
it'd be Godric.
Sure,
Are we ready?
Yeah,
Are we ready
I
to
think
play?
Guineria has like a +9, so I heard.
Yes.
Plus 1,000.
How bad could it be? Just need a 15. How bad?
She could roll a 1 and still roll higher than I got. Get a higher result than me.
Shh.
It would still be a
No
failure, but,
no saying that number. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1.
you know, 11 has 2 ones.
15.
You got exactly what you needed.
Jesus.
You go through the portal. You get Stranger Things. You all feel like you are sideways or maybe upside down from how you were supposed to be. You are standing in the middle of a extremely impressive temple. Directly in front of you is a military staging area, in the center of which is a massive statue made of some strange black iron of a dragoon figure armored in plate armor with extra spiking and extra wing motifs at both the elbows and the knees and ankles.
It would look like Lock Blazewing.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it
They
like
are
Blazewing?
wearing a helmet, and they have skeletal black wings, and they have a dragon tail, but they are humanoid. The temple around you, this courtyard that you're in is easily the size of a football field, for sure. And calling it a stadium structure would also be correct, because it is truly enormous. It's like 10 plus stories tall, carved out of black stone. Roman colonnading everywhere. You can see that there are a bunch of wyverns overhead and a bunch of half dragon and dragonborn that turn immediately when they see you walk through and all start charging towards you as heavy metal music plays. Your horse dies instantly, becomes a skeleton horse, and bites you in the ass.
Fuck!
All of you get 10 less hit points as long as you're in the plane of death.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Not good for me.
To be clear, this temple is much larger than the staging area. It's so dark you can't see into it. There is no light, period. It's eternal blackness here. Anyone who has dark vision can strangely see things moving in the clouds above you. Even though your vision shouldn't stretch that far, you can see weird shit moving in the clouds above you. No one said that they had any torches out or anything, so it's just blackness in every direction, and only those who have dark vision can see, which I think means
I think it's everybody now. Because Kitris has got the goggles of night.
Perfect. It's a good time to be Sam Fisher.
I have dark vision.
Yes.
Also
I
have dark vision.
knew everybody else had dark vision. It was just Kithrix. Yeah, and hey, we'll pick up that combat next time at the start of season 3 with all of your characters at level 8 minus 10 hit points.
Or 10. We'll have like previously, won't we?
What a season finale.
I will let the entire party make a insight check. And if the second highest roll is a 15 or better, we'll talk. We have a 21 and a 7. We have a natural 1. We have
Can we roll it because...
halfling luck.
Yeah.
Still 17. It's more than 15.
Yep, it is. That's good enough. So the second highest is an 18. So you've succeeded on your group's skill check. You all are looking, and everybody but Godric, your first thought was, is this Loch Blazewing? You're looking at the statue, this massive, like, 30-foot tall statue of this dragoon. The plate underneath it does not say Blazewing. It says Deathwalker. It says Loch Deathwalker.
It's Blazewing. We found the next boss, guys.
I think it's the artist formerly known as Blazewing.
Yeah, for reals.
I mean, he was called Blazewing because his draconic spirit was a fire dragon, which is one of the first things you learned about him.
Very
But
true.
if he went here and
Now he walks
through
through death.
pieces, assembling thoughts. Bad. No.
I've been writing this story for a pretty long time.
I like this motif. I'm gonna get to drop
It's
some cool
good story.
stuff.
Bad for us though.
Yeah, we'll see.
Any closing thoughts for this episode and this season?
Can't wait for next season.
I mean, next season's basically going to be battle. So,
I just did
Should run an army
my
with us.
took my 2 levels and applied them to my character. So
hey, you skipped the whole army part. The beginning of season 3 was supposed to be the Emperor was going to call you for help. He wanted to know how to get to the Temple of Unash. He thinks he found where all the hole where all the dragons were coming from, and he wanted you and your army of elite dragon killers to go there. You guys completely skipped that by teleporting directly to the temple and skipping the planar rift. So
No.
I said we were going to need 8 episodes. We probably just lost 2 or 3 of them.
Oops.
I opted for the fast pass, so you know.
Yeah, you went directly into the center of their stronghold, and you're now going to fight their strongest warriors in the center of their temple. So, I mean, yeah, you definitely surprised the hell out of them.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Well, I enjoyed this season.
I enjoyed
this was a good season.
Yes.
There's a lot of cool stuff.
I like where we got Sparky too now. It's like a young adult youth pastor.
/ hippie.
So
I
he's
was
a young
surprised it
adult
wasn't
youth
Sparky.
pastor.
Sparky was the
He's-
one singing Wonderwall.
He's not in his deodorant phase at the moment.
Oh
It's a
God!
dragon. You guys have the deodorant stone.
Well, I mean, we have it. He doesn't.
He just doesn't use it. Like just go touch the stone.
Just touch it. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll do it later.
I have an 11-year-old. Just go put deodorant on. No, I don't want to. Like, you know,
I used to work
I'm-
when I did antique restoration. One of the kids that used to work with us was like, I don't know, like so opposed to putting deodorant on. We were going to do a pickup, and I stopped at a grocery store and made him go in and get deodorant. He smelled so bad.
It's just because kids want to control their own environment, and so they don't want to do what they're told to do when they're that age. It's about showing that they actually have their own agency.
This dad here coming and dropping dad stuff that I didn't know about.
Right?
I've only done the rebelling. I haven't been on the side of being rebelled against.
Isn't that when D&D is?
Are you saying I'm your dad?
I
I don't understand what you're trying to say out of that. Okay.
Pretty
So
much.
I understand that I'm your dad now. You know, as long as we're talking about D&D and dads, people recommended to me many, many times
Dungeons and Daddies podcast.
Dungeons and Daddies, and honestly, it's so much better than I thought it would be. It's actually pretty good. And their DM is called a Daddy Master because he's the master of dads.
No. Are there lots of dad jokes?
Yes, so it's
Okay.
4 people from our world whose sons get isekai'd into the Forgotten Realms world of Toril, and they go after their kids in their 2013 Honda Odyssey. And as they
Oh my
do,
God.
they all unlock their Dungeons and Dragons abilities. And whenever somebody makes a dad joke in or out of character, everybody else takes 1d4 damage, and that person gets XP. This also appears to be the only way you get experience points in this campaign because they didn't get any for fighting or solving problems. I'm only on episode 3 though, but the only way they level appears to be making dad jokes.
Yeah, we certainly got. I've been playing a D&D campaign now that, and the GM's doing it like total kill XP and doing sort of old school style. And then we had and eventually we had no battles. We managed to talk our way through everything. And people were like, "How much XP do we get?" And the GM's like, "Nothing. You didn't. You didn't kill anything."
I remember that.
I mean,
I used to do that shit like
Yeah,
7 years
obviously, if there was a fight we could have had, we talked our way through. It'd give us XP for the fight, but it was a character exposition episode. It was about exploring our characters. He was like, "You want no XP for exploring your character?"
I think that's a terrible policy, but it's every PM's decision to run their own.
Well, look, you know, I took a spell that I thought would add some flavor to my character, and I got to roll the dice and roll poorly, and it became a joke.
Wow,
How D&D
is that
works.
good or bad? I don't know
I
whether this is a
mean,
good
it worked out
story.
pretty well with Godric and our
I'm talking about this game, not that game.
Oh, I see. Well,
Yeah.
guys, I said maybe. Gonna be the one to save me. Hey, just think.
I felt robbed, dude.
If you all die, you've left a perfect invasion hole for people to get around the Empire's border and attack from the south, coming out of Dragonhold.
Didn't we tell someone if we're not back in so much time to just destroy the portal?
You said you were
didn't
going to
think we
do
did
that,
because
but you never did it.
Yeah, we didn't really have a right. We didn't know what the plan was for it. Like, we didn't know how long we were going to be there for.
Listen,
or
I'm
what
perfectly
chance
okay with saying if you want to have Lucy and San Gerard rub the rune off the portal again after an X amount of time. How long is X amount of time? 1 minute? 1 day? 1 year?
Yeah, that's what we don't know. So we wouldn't have known what we were walking into, whether we're going to be walking into exploring an entire plane or walking straight into a combat. So I think that our best bet would be, if we think we're going to lose, is to have, try and destroy what we can of the portal from this side.
Find out next season.
So next week.
Yeah.
Are we good next week?
I'm good next week.
I think I should be good
yeah.
next week.
James, you look like maybe you aren't good.
I'm just in a holding pattern.
Yeah,
right now.
I know.
Yeah.
We'll plan on next week, but maybe it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Not D&D
So
works.
the stuff has rapidly changed in the last 24 hours. So
I see. Favorite NPC this season? Yeah, that's right. Didn't expect me to ask that question.
What are like the
favorite?
top 5 right now? It's been
I mean,
so long since we
Rython?
played. I kind of
Python?
no,
No.
not on my list anyway.
I liked the deaf child.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was
back
a
in
minute
the
ago.
Elven Village. Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was an
Um,
interesting sort of thing to explore there with that particular enemy that you brought out. So I thought that was
I'd say it's either the Deaf Child or Dr. Lansky.
Actually,
Ooh, Dr. Lansky, strong choice. Yes.
And I'll say Dr. Lansky just because he's so memeable.
it's time for a crime heist. What can I say?
What was the tiefling in that group? The one that I kept going back and forth with?
Akanja.
Yeah,
Sanja here.
she was
The
my
one-
favorite.
Yeah, well, she boomed you
You
during the
knocked her
dragon
out
fight.
like 6 times.
Listen, there was a back and forth. Okay, nobody won.
I mean, according to my notes, she got the last laugh. I mean, you got the first 2 laughs, but she got the last one.
That means 2v1. That means I win.
Who would I say? I would say Lansky, but because of his smoldering storyline with Virginia and then the 2 of them having beef and splitting their party up, that's very funny to me. That was my favorite part of Skull and Bones, where they were like, all right, we have a perfect tight-knit group of criminals that have their own storyline. We are now going to have half of them go with one of the other main characters and half of them go with the other. And I was like, no! What are you doing? This is the dumbest decision in storytelling I've ever seen. This is like that entire season of Ruby where they were like, all right, the show's called Ruby. We're going to take all 4 of the main party members and send them on solo adventures. And I was like, this is a whole season? This is so fucking stupid. It's called Ruby, not RWBY. I'm so mad. I hate it when groups have a great dynamic and then a scriptwriter's like, all right, we got to shake things up real quick. Everybody's going on their own. I hate it. It's the worst part of Lost.
Let's not mention Lost.
Hey, the first 2 seasons of Lost were some really good television.
Yep. After that, it was all downhill.
It was it was a unique experience getting to the end there. All right. Speaking of unique experiences, this is the last time you'll experience an ending in season 2. So, enjoy it. Because maybe you're going to be the one to